All right, day 2, or the next step in elimination, on the right side of your journal, is what happens if there's no common coefficient. So last time, when we canceled them out, a y and a negative y canceled out, and we canceled them out because those were common coefficients. But what happens if there are no common coefficients? We are going to manipulate the equation. That's how you spell equation. We're going to manipulate the equation to make common coefficients. All right, so what that means is you can do anything you want. You know the rules for algebra. You know that when you do something to one term in an equation, you've got to do it to the whole term in the equation. Just like when we multiplied by a negative in the last one, we multiplied everything by negative. Well, it's the same thing here, but you want to be smart about it. You want to take the easy way out. At least that's what I do. So if you look at number 1, there are no common coefficients. X and 2, 3, and negative 7, those don't cancel out. But I could make this pretty easy on myself. And again, it doesn't matter if you manipulate the X's or the Y's. Matters not. You just got to get rid of one. So what I'm going to do is, if this is 2, I know that a negative 2 will cancel out. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply this whole top term by negative 2. And I get negative 2x minus 6y equals negative 12. And I keep my bottom one of 2x minus 7y equals negative 1. Now my 2's can cancel out, okay? And I'm going to save that right there. You could cancel out your y's, but that would be where you would have to manipulate 2 equations. Like if I wanted to get rid of that, maybe I multiply this top one by 7 to get 21y, but then I'd multiply that bottom one by 3, and I would get 21y's, and those would cancel out. But that's me multiplying 2 equations, and I want to lessen my work, because remember, in math, we want to be efficient, and we want to be correct. So it wouldn't be real efficient if I had to multiply both of them. So sometimes you got to think smarter, not harder. So that's why I just multiplied that top one by negative 2. Now, when they cancel out, my x's cancel out. Negative 13y equals negative 13. Y then equals positive 1. And again, at this point in time, you should be able to go back and solve pretty easy. X plus 3 equals 6 if y is 1, so x would have to be 3. So I'm just going to show you kind of how to multiply by everything so you can understand the concept of how to do it. But you've been solving for that second variable for quite a while now. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Number 3, 3 and 5 don't cancel out, and here's 4. So I can multiply this top one by 4, and watch what happens when I do that. I get 12x minus 4y equals 56, okay? So, and I'm keeping my bottom one of 5x plus 4y equals 12. So now, I know, this is where the magic happens.
This is so cool.
This is Aspen. You can come say hello. There's Aspen.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
I was like,
all right, yeah.
Giving us a look.
I know, it is. All right, so now when you cancel, my y's cancel out, and I get 17x equals 68. And when I divide both sides by 17, I get x equals, it's not, let me check my work here so I can do it off the top of my head. Yeah, come on in. I get 4. That is 4. Okay, so x equals 4, and then, oh no, my board stopped working. Oh, there it is. Oh, you came in and my board stopped working.
Oh, it's bad omen.
I know. No, I'm kidding. You're fine. Do you want to come say hello? Ask me to say hello. You can say hello. Hi. There's Riley. All right, thanks, Riley. Okay, so 4, and then, of course, you would go back, plug it in, and then solve for y. Let's take a look at number 5. So what would I do here? Well, if this one's negative 3, I'm going to multiply the bottom one by a negative 3 because I need this guy to be positive. That's the only way 3's are going to cancel out. So I'm going to keep my original 3x minus 3y equals negative 3, and I'm going to multiply my bottom one by negative 3, and I get negative 6x positive 3y equals positive 15. So I hope you can see why I multiplied that because I had to change that sign. So now I get negative 3x equals 12, X then equals -4. And of course, you would go back and you would solve for Y there. But for the sake of time on this video, I'm just going to show you the process. Let's go ahead and do number 7. Uh-oh. Oh, no, this one's still easy. I don't have to do both of them. So if I did my X's, I would have to multiply the top one by 7 and the bottom one by 3. So I don't want to do that. But if I multiply this top one by -2, then that's going to work out. So I get -6x minus 8y equals -12. I keep my bottom one as 7x plus 8y equals 10. Now my y's cancel out, and I get x equals -2. And of course, you can go back and solve for y. All right, let's do one where you can't do just one. Look at number 8. There's not just one that I can do in here. Like there's no common if I multiply just by one number. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to manipulate both equations. So, and it doesn't matter. You can do x or y. So I'm going to get rid of the x's here. So I'm going to multiply this top one by 5, and I'm going to multiply the bottom one by -3. And try it at home. Maybe you want to multiply the top one by a -5 and the bottom one by +3. We're still going to get the same answer. So I get 15x plus 15y equals 45 when I multiply by 5. And when I multiply by -3, I get -15x minus 12y equals -30. Now my x's cancel out. I have 3y equals 15. Y then equals 5. And then I would go back and solve for x. Okay? Now, look at number 10. Remember, your rule is to keep everything lined up. So the first thing I got to do is I got to line my terms up. So I have 2x. I'm going to subtract 4y. Minus 4y equals 18. And I have -5x minus, I can't read what I have, minus 6y equals 3. Now I can start manipulating. And maybe I want to multiply the top one by 5 and the bottom one by 2. And I can do that. So I get 10x minus 20y equals, of course I do that one, 90? Is that 90? I think that's 90. And then I get -10x minus 12y equals 6. So now my 10's cancel out. I'm left with -32y equals 96. Divide both sides by a -32. And then I get my y value is going to be a -3. Okay, and then I can go back and solve for x. So that's what you do on those, guys. Remember, your steps don't change. Line up, then cancel out. So hopefully you got that. If you didn't, good luck. Ask me questions. Come and see me.